Hi there guys, it's LivyBoy2603 here and welcome to my season 2019-2020 prediction video. Now, I'm going to get a few things out of the way quickly. I'm a Livingston fan in case it's the first time you've ever watched my channel. I do not let that influence any of my decisions, and if I put your team lower than you think they're going to come, please don't take offence. At the end of the day, I'm very bad at predicting, so I wouldn't get too worried if I put your team to get relegated. But anyway guys, sit back and enjoy my predictions. So, we start off with the Scottish Premiership. Now, there's obviously an elephant in the room at this situation. Everyone up and down the country is going to predict Celtic and Rangers to come top two, but what order do you put them in? That's going to be the variable factor. I do predict Celtic will win 9 in a row. I do think the title race is going to be a lot better this year. I do think Rangers have a stronger team, hence why I've put them to come second, but I do believe over the course of the season Celtic will edge Rangers and win the title. So my second place prediction is obviously Rangers. For third place, this was actually tricky. I think this Premiership season is going to be almost Celtic and Rangers breaking away from everyone and everyone else being stuck in quite a tight battle. It's just going to be one of those years that it feels like a lot of teams are going to underperform, and I have put Aberdeen third just because of recent seasons, and I do feel Aberdeen will come third. Fourth place, Hibs. This is pretty self-explanatory. Hibs are always in this position roughly, so Hibs to come fourth. Perhaps a wee shock, I have put Motherwell to come fifth. Motherwell have looked really strong in the Betfred Cup, and that makes me think they're going to do well. As for sixth, I've put Hearts. Hearts haven't done that well in the Betfred Cup. I know they got out their group, but losing East Fife and penalties wasn't a good result. But through the course of the season, they will improve, and I do think they will just about sneak a top 6 finish. As for seventh, I'm going with Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock lost in Europe to Connacht, so Kilmarnock ain't exactly looking as good as they did last season, hence why I've got them finishing the bottom 6. As for 8th, I'm going with newly promoted Ross County. Ross County looks solid. In the Betfred Cup, they played really well, and for that reason, I just think they'll have a really good season. As for 9th, I'm going with Livingston to come 9 for 2 years in a row. I don't know what it is, I just feel the team Livingston have built this season, they're going to probably not be as good as we were last season, but I do think we'll end up finishing the same position of 9th. As for 10th, I'm going with Hamilton Accies. Hamilton Accies just seem to be the team that can't leave the Premiership. Every season they just stay up by the skin of their teeth, and I believe it'll be the exact same this season. As for 11th, I'm going with St Mirren. St Mirren haven't looked that good in the Betfred Cup, losing on penalties to East Kilbride, losing to Dunfermline, and only beating Albion Rovers on penalties. So, for that reason, I'm going to say St Mirren will be in the playoffs, and who knows what will happen in the playoffs. As for 12th, I'm going with St Johnstone. Talk about bad Betfred Cup campaign. St Johnstone lost to Forfar and Montrose, both over 90, not on penalties. Also, they've not looked that good against other opponents they've played, and their opening 6 or 7 games are quite challenging with Celtic, Kilmarnock, Aberdeen all in the mix. So, I do think over the course of the season, St Johnstone will be the weakest team and will get relegated from the Premier League. The Scottish Championship is always a very hard league to predict, and I think it will be very tricky this year. However, I'm going with Inverness to win the league. I don't know what it is, but I just have this feeling that Inverness are going to win the league this year. They've built quite a strong team, and they do look a good side. As for second and third, it was always going to be the two Dundee teams, and I do think Dundee will edge Dundee United, just for the reason that Dundee are going to get the European money for being in the Premiership last season. So, I think they'll be able to rebuild in January, and that'll be enough to take them over their rivals Dundee United. As for fourth, I do believe Partick Thistle will take the last playoff place. I don't know what it is. Partick were very bad at the start of last season, but they picked themselves up, and I do believe if they continue with that form, they will sneak into the top 4. For Dunfermline Athletic, I'm just going to go mid-table. Dunfermline do this quite often where they're way too good to be considered relegation contenders, but not good enough to be a top 4 team, and I think that will happen this season. As for 6th, I'm going with Greenock Morton. I've also put Ayr United 7th, and those two are two I'm not confident with. They two could interchange, but I believe Davy Hopkin will do well with Morton, but not well enough to get them into the top 4, and I believe Ayr United will not have the same season they had last season. As for 8th, I'm going to go Queen of the South. Queen of the South stayed up in the playoffs last season. Similar to the last season, Queen of the South are not going to be challenging the top of the league, but I do think they will just about stay up. As for 9th, I'm going to controversially say Arbroath. In the pre-season, Arbroath had some amazing results, beating Hearts and Hibs. They've done quite well in the Betfred Cup, didn't get out their group unfortunately, but I do believe over the course of the year they might just get the better of Alloa Athletic, who I've predicted to go down. Similar with Alloa Athletic, they've lost Jim Goodwin, so it's going to be a time of rebuilding for them, and I don't know if they'll survive the Championship, but the Championship is too hard to predict, so their predictions could be well wrong come the end of the season. For all I know, Alloa could win the league. Very unlikely, but never give up, there's always hope. As for Scottish League 1, I'm going with Falkirk to win the league. The team Falkirk have built in League One, considering the golf and class they have, they should win that league quite easily, and I can't see many teams getting in their way. As for second, third and fourth, I'm predicting it's going to stay the exact same as last season. Forth or second, Drafe third, Montrose fourth. As for fifth, I'm going to go Peterhead. I think they will have mid-table respectability. I know it's their first season back up in League One, but they won't be challenging for the playoffs, but they won't be down and out either. As for sixth, I'm going with other newcomers, Clyde to the league. Clyde haven't looked that good in the Betfred Cup, but I do believe they will improve and come sixth. As for seventh, I'm going to go with Ergiones. Ergiones' typical position for them, seventh, quite comfortable from not getting relegated but nowhere near the playoffs. As for eighth, I'm going to go with East 5. Ninth, I'm going to go with Stranraer, and 10th, I'm going to go with Dumbarton. Dumbarton struggled to field 11 players for some of their friendlies. They didn't look that good in the Betfred Cup, and for that reason, I do think they will drop down to League 2. As for Scottish League 2, I'm going with Stenhousemuir, who were relegated via the playoffs last season, to win it. As for second place, I'm going with Elgin City. Third place, Annan Athletic, and fourth place, also newly relegated, Brecon City. Brecon have had a horrendous 2 years, and I think a top 4 finish would be good for the club, and I do think they will achieve that. For mid-table, I'm going Queen's Park. Queen's Park, this is their last season playing at Hampden, so after this season they're going to have a few problems, I believe, but this season they will get mid-table. Sixth place, I'm going with Stirling Albion. Pretty much mid-table finish for Stirling Albion, nothing really interesting nor bad about it. As for seventh, I'm going to go with Edinburgh City. Edinburgh City did get playoffs last year, but they haven't looked that good in the Betfred Cup, and I do believe they'll come lower down the table. As for eighth, I'm going to go with Cowdenbeath. Cowdenbeath actually done better than I predicted last season, so I think they'll have an okay season. They won't be doing well, but they won't be relegation either. As for ninth, I'm going with newly promoted to the leagues, Cove Rangers. Cove Rangers, your first season is going to be a hard season, but I do believe you will just about stay up. As for the bottom of that league and could potentially be facing a playoff to not be a non-league side, Albion Rovers. Albion were horrendous last season. They were lucky that Berwick Rangers were worse than them, and I don't mean any disrespect, it's just fact. Now that that's all the leagues out the way, it's time to predict the cups. For the Tunnocks Caramel Wafer Challenge Cup, which by the way, I love that name, I predict Dundee to win it. Now you're thinking, why am I predicting Dundee? Well, for the last 3 seasons, the team to win that cup is the team that came 12th in the Premiership the previous season, so I'm just going to apply that logic and roll with it. I'm going with Dundee to win it. As for the Betfred Cup, I can't see Celtic doing their quadruple treble, and I do believe Rangers, as I mentioned, will be stronger this season. I believe Rangers will win the Betfred Cup this season. As for the Scottish Cup, I do think for the 4th year running, Celtic will lift the Scottish Cup. Celtic will be in the mix for the Betfred Cup, but I do think Rangers will just about beat them to it, but I am going for Celtic to win the Scottish Cup. Anyway guys, that is my predictions for this season. How many of them are going to be right? Probably not many. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and comment your predictions down below. Please subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.